Clear the pipes first.
Oh, of course. Nice and lubed.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pregame Network podcast, episode 70, the only gaming news show on the internet that's not afraid to offend anybody. So, still sticking with that slogan.
Absolutely.
It'll become a problem once we get a bigger audience, but for right now, it's fine.
We're doing fine so far. It's golden.
Yeah. This is Dan, joined by my bestest pal, Anthony, and we're going to be talking about some more stuff that happened in gaming this past week. So, as usual, we'll go over what we've been playing over the past week.
A lot of that this
get
week.
into the news proper. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You want to kick us off with that? I've been going first.
Yeah, may
most
as well
of the
kick us
time.
off. I'll start with the stuff that I'm pretty sure only I have played, and then make our way to the more communal stuff, or we can leave that for after, whichever behooves us. Yeah, so definitely played a few different, I guess you could say, just multiplayer or just newer offerings than previously, just because it's a lot of releases, a lot of betas are running. To start, I tried the Sonic Crossworlds Racing, or Sonic Racing Crossworlds. I always get these longer titles mixed up with which word goes where. I think it's the first real Sonic racing game I've enjoyed in a long time. Like, I would say since like high school. Like, I like the older shit, like Sonic R, and then on the 360 they did one called Sonic Racing Transformed, or no, I'm sorry, Sonic Racing All Stars, which got a sequel, Sonic Racing Transformed, which is not necessarily as good as All Stars. And then there's been a few cheaper offerings in between there, but this one's really good. The whole gimmick with this one is like, as you drive, there's like whoever's in the lead at a certain point gets to vote on a track that everybody warps to, or like, and that's like the middle segment, and then you come back to the main track for the final lap. And there's a lot of characters that are going to be in it. Even the beta had a ton of characters, and the main thing is like they're doing crossover characters, like, you know, get the cross worlds racing. So they're putting in other properties that they own, like they're doing Persona characters, Yakuza characters. They own the rights to Hatsune Miku, so they're putting her in there. And they're also doing a bunch of crossover shit that nobody was expecting. They're doing a bunch of Nickelodeon shit, so figure that one out. They're doing like SpongeBob's gonna be in it. Like, all right, if you want to put him in there. They're doing Minecraft stuff, so I'm like, okay. The whole gimmick is you pay for like the crossover shit, and they just throw free Sega characters at you once in a while. But overall, the game I should talk about, the actual fucking gameplay, it's fun. It's a good racer. I've always mentioned before that I just want a good racing game, you know? And this isn't 100%.
Just like you said in the past, that I just want a good third-person shooter.
Exactly. And like, it's fun. It's a good arcade racer, you know? It's not perfect. You know, it's definitely fixed a lot of the problems that games like this have had. Like, the items are more interesting to use. It doesn't fall into the Mario Kart thing where it's like you got to constantly go into drifting to do boosting, otherwise you're not winning like you would in a Mario Kart. But it stands out enough. It's just a fun arcade racer. Only so much I can say about it. I will say, the beta basically broke the second day because they're testing out like a festival thing where like there's different themed events going on, and ever since then I haven't been able to hold down a match stably for more than like 2 races. It's nightmares, but hey, that's the point of a beta, so hopefully they stick the landing, because that is a lot of fun. Other than that, it's mainly been stuff with what I've been playing with you guys, you know, shit like the finals. You know, I have my gacha, I have my fighting, I have all that stuff, still doing all that. But you know, I also finally, you know, came right around the corner. No, I'm not going there yet.
Okay.
I played Gears of War Reloaded. That's what I was getting. That's what I wanted to start with. Yeah, so Gears of War Reloaded. Have you had a chance to play yet? I don't think you have.
I actually played the first mission
the campaign
last night.
The campaign, you did get a chance to play it. For me,
I was never
weird.
like a huge Gears multiplayer person. I was never like that great at it, and I always liked playing a horde and campaign more. That's just me.
I mean, that's fine. I was I remember like, I don't know, like I remember liking Gears 1. I'm one of the few people that liked Gears 2, and I fucking love Gears 3. I've mentioned it before. I think Gears 3 is probably the best third-person shooter ever made. At the very least, it's the best cover-based third-person shooter ever made, like hands down. So Gears 1 rolls around, and it's like, I was trying to go through the campaign of Ultimate with Harrison, and then I was going to do another comparative playthrough in Reload as like a co-op kind of thing, right? And I'm still probably going to do that, if anybody's willing to do that with me. But
I'll probably do that with you.
Yeah, we could do a Gears Reloaded playthrough if you want. But anyway, the whole point is I wanted to do a comparison, and as I was playing it back to back, I basically realized that Reloaded is really just another reskin of Ultimate. Like, there is so much under the hood I noticed, like from menu stuff to how things are kind of tweaked from the original to Ultimate. I'm just like, oh, they just put another coat of paint on this. Like, even Luke was talking like he was disappointed when he was playing it, but I'm like, Gears 1 is still a ton of fun. It is to third-person shooters what Unreal Tournament is to first-person shooters, in that they're very like twitchy shooters. Gears of War, you think heavier, like tanky, there's thudding constantly because everybody's running, but realistically when it comes to the gunplay, it feels like the old school style of tournament shooter, where like you twitch the wrong way, you're gonna get murdered by whoever's twitching the right way. And going back to play this, what this is all amounting to is when I got back down into it, I was like, wow, I'm better at this than I remember. Like, I thought I was going to go in and get thrashed, right? I even sent you the Toby Keith song when I got my first couple matches in. I'm like, I'm not as good as I once was. I was feeling the burn the first couple, but after a while, I'm getting into it. Like, I was playing with Harrison, and he wasn't doing so hot. He's good at it, but he gets frustrated. And he's just like, oh, I guess you're having a good time because you looked at the scoreboard. I'm like, yeah, I guess I am having a good time. And I said it to both of you. I'm just like, I guess I tend to forget this sometime, but I really fucking love Gears, and Gears 1 is, even though I like Gears 3 better, it's solid, it's fun, and it's almost like a time capsule in a way because I'm playing it. And, obviously you have the PlayStation people there, you have the Steam people there now, but like, I was in a lobby today where it was me and 7 other guys, and like I'm seeing like XX, gamer tags. I'm seeing the default. I'm seeing the default Xbox Live gamer tags from when the 360 launched. There were 3 in there.
When the gamer pictures too, like with the dragon, the kid with the beanie.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm fucking saying. I was in that lobby, and there it was
throwback to a
it was like the weird alien looking guy. The dragon icon was in there. I was using the anime one, and there was one other one. I think it was the soccer ball one. It was all in there.
There was a panda too, right?
Something there was a panda. That was a popular one too, and they remastered some of those for the Xbox One. But I used the original. But so I'm sitting there and game chat's active. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
It's like I stepped back in time. Yeah, and it's like at the same time it comes with some of the stupid baggage because like because I'm a dickhead, I ruin this. But you have people meleeing in the air trying to do the 1v1s, and I just run in and I fucking kill anybody because like I don't have time for this. I came here to play my fucking game. Let me play my fucking game, because I know I always thought that stuff was wrong. But I'm surprised at how many of those guys are still around willing to play this rewarmed remaster of a game, and I'm surprised how much of that culture remained.
Yeah, well, I think that's a side effect or a byproduct of a much larger issue in gaming today.
Where nothing really took over.
Go off on we can go off on a whole other tangent about this, but like, there's basically an entire generation of people, or an entire generation of gamers that grew up with the Gears of War games, and not like just Gears, but like games from that era that were kind of quite unlike anything else that we have today. And after, I don't know, maybe after like Fortnite launched or something, a bunch of those people probably just checked out of gaming because like, you really got to go out of your way to find a game that you're really gonna vibe with nowadays. I think.
No, I agree with you.
And you just said that you see all this shit happening in 2025 with Gears of War Reloaded, with like the old school gamer pictures and people like meleeing in the air to try to do a 1v1. Like all that shit was around when we were growing up, back in like 2000 and what was it? Came out 2005, 2006.
Well, no, that was like 2007. It was around. It was
Okay,
around there.
so I was 2 years off, but you know, that is just it's a symptom of a much larger root cause, and it's fascinating to see in today's day and age. It's actually something that a talking point that I actually had about Gears of War in particular was that they have now remastered Gears 1 2 times, right? Or quote unquote remaster.
Yeah, the first one was like kind of a remake. I know there's like some stuff under the hood that's different, but the idea is that it's a 2 remasters back to back essentially.
Yeah. They gave them facelifts each time. My question is, why haven't they just released the whole trilogy in the same vein as the Master Chief Collection? Because I like Gears 3 way better than the first 2. Like, not that I dislike the first 2, but I want to play Gears 3, you know, like with that facelift. I don't get it, because now they've remastered Gears 1 2 times, and 2 and 3 just they got the, I don't know, they got the curve. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
So I understand what you mean by that. So my understanding, if I had to guess, right, it's a 2-pronged thing. I think one is the people that did the Master Chief Collection 343 at the time, and the Coalition, the guys that did Ultimate Edition, they're both owned by Microsoft. So I'm willing to believe that somebody at Microsoft at the top looked at the Master Chief Collection and like looked at the state it launched in and the features it was lacking, right? And they looked at that and they said, people like this, but it didn't do as well as we thought we would, and we're gonna have to put a ton of time into fixing this, which they ended up doing, right? So I think they played it safer with Gears of War. They said, okay, we have the Master Chief Collection, we did this big collection, we did all these different things, we, you know, put all the things together, and some people like that, but some people don't, because it's not 100% faithful, blah, blah, blah. And I think when they looked at Gears, they said, let's play it much more safe. Let's try to leave everything under the hood as much as possible, and just put a new menu, and maybe some new modes, and we'll start with the first game, and maybe later we'll invest in more games. And later never came, and that rolls into Reloaded, where they're at a time where it's just like, okay, we're starting to put games on other consoles. Maybe we should just remaster the remaster again, give everybody a little something that they want, fix the online backend issues that are there now, because Ultimate doesn't really function all that great anymore, blah, 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 and they played it safe yet again, you know? So I think it's just a matter of the time frame that both Ultimate Edition and Reloaded came to be. I really think that's just it, really.
I agree with you, like, in pretty much every aspect. I do. However, using that same logic, like, they're just going to run out of runway again this time. We're not going to get a Gears 2 remastered, or we're not going to get a Gears 3 remastered. Well, and we're already pretty much at the tail end of this current console generation.
Yeah. So. I could see them on the next console generation maybe doing something with 3. Because you also got to remember that I think all 3 Gears games are pretty good. I think 1 is its own special kind of something, and I already splurged about 3 before. 2, I like 2. I'm in the minority. A lot of diehard Gears players, even though they respect 2, and they like the campaign, the story, horde mode, they don't like the multiplayer that much. The multiplayer was a big sticking point for a lot of Gears faithful back in the day, you know? What I'm just getting at is, you know, you look at Halo 1, 2, 3, bunch of classics. There's an audience for each multiplayer for 1, 2, and 3. Put that in a bundle. I guess the other half of it, aside from the opportune timing that I'm getting at, is the Gears 2 is not a slam dunk game to remaster, I guess, is what I'm getting at, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I still think it has its place in the trilogy, and I mean, you can't do 1 and 3. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
You'd be surprised. I mean, there's been remasters like that before. The Dragon Ball Z Budokai games, when they remastered them, there was a whole host of issues with that, but they only remastered 1 and 3. So you could, there are weird things that have happened before, but I think the whole point's moot, because I think whatever happens next with the Gears franchise is completely dependent on how E-Day does and how it's received. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm
cautiously optimistic for E-Day.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, you know, they do the typical thing where it's just like, hey, look at all this stuff. It's an engine. Look, it's an engine. It's running an engine. I'm like, I'm not buying fucking it. Like, I think E-Day was cool. I think we talked about it when it got announced. I talked about how awesome it looked. Yeah. But I'm not an idiot to go like, it's a slam dunk. It's going to be a phenomenal game, right? I
absolutely
have not seen a single fucking thing, so I'm gonna
The only
hold on and
thing-
wait.
The only thing that I could really like praise E-Day for right now, just having seen that one pre-rendered cutscene, is the fact that it looks like they at least got the tone right of the game.
Yes.
Like Gears 4 and 5 tone was a little bit light for me.
Yes.
Like in Gears 1, especially playing through the first mission, like things are fucking bleak. Like humanity is on the brink of extinction.
Yes.
And you felt that in the atmosphere, and that went away in Gears 4 and 5.
Yeah,
so
that's one of the things I like. I look back. Even 2 and 3 have it to a much lesser degree, you know. But Gears 1, it's almost like there's a little spritz of horror in there, which I really.
I was
enjoy.
right about to say it's like a very low key horror vibe in some of the levels, like especially. Oh God, I don't remember what it's called, but because I haven't played it in fucking years, but it was the one mission where like you're going through the emulsion factory, I think, and all the power is out, and the game forces you to walk instead of like doing your little jog walk type of thing. And there are jump scares in that level, and like 13-year-old me or however old I was back then playing that game fucking terrified me. Like goddamn, the whole campaign was great.
Yeah, the thing about that room, I remember what you're thinking of is like you had to walk, and if you went the wrong way, you would fall down to a lower level, and you would have to fight your way back up.
Mauled to death. Yeah. By the little juvies. Oh man, that was a good level.
A lot of fun.
All right, so that's what you've been playing.
Except for just the only thing I'll say is there are other things, but we'll talk about them collectively.
I'll go into that. Yeah. So the only thing that I've been playing like on my own that is like I guess kind of new. So I bought and I've been playing Risk of Rain 2 a little bit. I put about 7 hours in. Did I bring this up last week or is this the first time?
This is the second time you're bringing up Risk of Rain
on the podcast.
Yes.
Okay, so I've been playing a little bit more of that. I think I'm gonna end up putting it down pretty soon, just because of the other things that I got going on, like as far as gaming goes. I re-downloaded and started playing Path of Exile 2 again.
Okay.
And we'll see how long I stick with that. I did that because it got a new season and a new act in the campaign, even though I never beat the campaign originally. Like the difficulty ramped up really quick, and I just kind of got frustrated and put it down. So I've been playing a little bit more of that. The finals is kind of a staple for us on Saturdays now. We were just playing Killing Floor 3. There's actually a bunch of Killing Floor 3 news that I would like to talk about, but I'll use that as a segue after. Dark Tide is always a staple, as you know. I've been playing a little bit of Space Marine, but beyond that, you and I and Harrison finally played Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 has come to Xbox finally, and we played for like 5 or 6 hours yesterday. It was
we were at
great.
it for a while.
Yeah. So now that I have you cornered in Helldivers right now, you already know my opinion on it. Anyone who's been listening since last year definitely knows how much I like Helldivers 2. It was my personal game of the year for 2024. What are your thoughts so far? You've put in what, a grand total of 10 hours, something like that?
Something like that, I would say. Yeah, we put in a decent chunk of time. So what I will say is, as somebody who sat here and listened to you talk about it, listened to Joe talk about it, and even at some point listened to Eric talk about it, I heard everybody talk about this up and down, and I had 2 moments. And one was like when I finally the game did its best and did everything that it did right. Boy, is it fun. But the other moment is when I look at all the shit, all the war bonds, and the kind of negative balance aspects that Joe was a lot more sterner on when he was talking about it. So my opinion on it is that I think it's a ton of fun. I think it offers something that isn't really available on the market right this second, I would say, with the kind of open world, go do a mission, it's a war of attrition, you have a lot of support options and shit like that. There's not really something like that right now that's doing this in that way, right? But at the same time, I feel ridiculously outgunned, and I do not like the not the unlock structure, because I have no problem playing to earn content, right? But I feel like it's almost like we're like teetering over the edge of like what I'm willing to tolerate with like free to play, but meanwhile I just paid $40 to get in. You know?
Well, okay, so let's unpack that a little bit, because
Yes.
I understand the frustration that you're feeling with that, because
Yes.
you came in a year after the game launched. There is like basically a dozen paid war bonds that you need to progress through and unlock to get. I wouldn't say the best shit in the game, but very good stuff for the game to take on like the higher end difficulties. And I own the vast majority of them. I think I don't have two or something like that at this point. But so the first war bond that they launched with, Helldivers Mobilize, right? Like that's the largest one, because that's what all of the baseline weapons and stratagems are in. You said that you don't have a problem playing the game to unlock the content, which is a normal thing to say.
Yes, I just for kind of reference, I've seen, because obviously you mentioned it just came to Xbox. There's a whole wave of people jumping on, hundreds of thousands of players, and obviously some of them are streamers. I've seen some videos of people bitching about it, and I'm like, most of these streamers play Call of Duty. I'm like, you get the concept of a battle pass. This shouldn't be fucking difficult for you. But it's at the same time, like, I can't really give their systems a pass, because I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm willing to get this, and this. But at the same time, again, it feels like I jumped into a free to play game, but there was a $40 price of entry, you know? It's also possible, I've heard Joe mention, both on the podcast and when I bitched about it the other day, that, you know, super credits are somewhat easy to grind if you know what you're doing, but I haven't
They're easy
felt
to grind,
that
but
yet.
it's kind of mind numbing, because we haven't been hunting for them, and two, we've been only playing like levels 8 and above, which are definitely the higher. Well, level 10 super hell dive, that's the hardest difficulty available. And when you're doing that, it's like you don't have the time or the resources to run around and look for these super credits. So like farming on the higher end difficulties it's not impossible, but it's extremely difficult. So I get your point there. If we really wanted to grind it out, we'd jump into a level 1 and run around and annihilate everything and clean the map out and just keep on doing that. But that's not really that much fun. Like, who really wants to do that? We're just banging our head against the wall. I see what you're.
Go ahead.
I see what you're saying with the whole progression system, and while I don't entirely disagree, I think it's a lot easier for me to be okay with it, because I've been on board with this since day one, and it's not like I didn't pay $40 and then I suddenly find myself way behind the 8 ball between all the gear and unlockables. I've been paying like $10 chunks like every other month, or like every month, or whatever it is, for what I want or for what I think is cool. So it's a little bit easier for me to digest than you, in my opinion. That being said, I think that we definitely have to like make it a point to finish the Helldivers Mobilize war bond, at least for yours and Harrison's sake, so you don't just have one orbital strike and a machine gun. Like, that's not really that's not how the game is meant to be played, and it's not fun, and it's boring. Once you start unlocking all the good shit, and like when I say all the good shit, like you unlock all of it from not the war bond, but the stratagem menu on your ship. Like, you have to go through and you have to use credits and samples to unlock. Take like the Eagle Hangar, for example, where all the airstrikes come from. That's all requisition slips and samples, which you just naturally get by playing the game. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not entirely disagreeing with you with the whole progression structure, but it is a little daunting if you're brand new and you jump in and you see, like, out of the 12 war bonds that are available right now, 11 of them are out of reach because you have to pay money for them. So like, now you're talking about like $120 or something like that to unlock all this shit. Like, that's a little, it's unreasonable is the wrong word, because you could just buy it a la carte, but it's very intimidating. So I get where you're coming from, but I guess that's just the structure of how they decided to fund the game. And I don't know if I don't want to call it unfair, because I really don't think it's that unfair. Because all the stuff that I still use, like I I use the Liberator Penetrator, which is in the Helldivers Mobilized War Bond. I use the Railgun, the 500 kg bomb, and like one other, and I think the mechs. The mechs I think are in a War Bond, but everything else that was base game level. So all the stuff that I like to use, that I find great success with, that I do beat level 10 missions with over and over again, that's all available to you for free. But you could have different tastes than me with like stratagem. So
yeah,
it's a two-way street, I guess.
So I guess to kind of give you a better idea of my my perspective, right? Because I don't want it to. I shouldn't say it's all doom and gloom, because I did see Helldivers Mobilize as the pass, right? Like that's the free one. You don't have to spend anything. That's where all of your medals are going for the first get, right? And there are super credits in there. I get that. I guess my different point of view is really just like, as you know, in the last year or so, I've been going through, I guess you could say, like a gacha kick, right? Like I've been in the gacha slums, so to speak, right? And it's gonna come to it. I plan on doing a video on it to kind of make it all go to something. But what I'm getting at is like, I've hit the ground floor with brand new games as they came out. I played the one that's been around forever that popularized it, and had like there's 5 years of content that I just have not touched. I've tried, brand new releases on the Xbox. I've tried all these different genres, right? And I feel like I've gotten more for like just playing and going through it in those gacha games where I paid nothing than what Helldivers has given me so far. Now there's two little caveats to that. Number one, still haven't put a lot of time in Helldivers. I have not seen what the grinding structure is, because I'm all about gaming the system so that I don't have to pay more in a fucking video game. Fine with that, right? That's golden. Maybe a week from now, 2 weeks from now, I realize, this isn't that bad. I can go in and I can make sure that they never get $10 from me ever, right? I'm fine with that. There's a way to do it, and it's reasonable within reason, reasonable within reason. Then I don't have a problem with that. And at the same time, with the gacha games, the way that they do their free stuff, where it's just like, oh, you haven't played in a while, here's some stuff, or hey, this is an event we're doing, if you play it within the timed thing, they're still getting something out of it, and they're trying to do like almost like drug-seeking behavior, where they give you a little taste and they expect you to come back and pay more. I get it, they're playing a dirty game too, but it's so weird to me, as somebody who struggled, or not struggled, but like did like the baseline minimum in a game that demands your time, attention, or money, that Helldivers isn't like giving me more than what those other games did as far as gameplay content, and I paid more. I paid up front for Helldivers. I guess that's where my disconnect is.
Do you think it's a side effect of the fact that, technically speaking, Helldivers is a premium offering as opposed to a free-to-play gacha game?
No, not necessarily. Because I would say, depending on who you ask, I mean, there's, and this is again unfair. It's not fair to Arrowhead, but I do think that some of these gacha games have a bigger budget than Helldivers does. So I mean, that could be part of it too. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's tricky.
And for what it's worth, I'm not trying to like be an Arrowhead apologist, but like they do try to do right by the community, in my opinion.
I would love to. I would love it if Joe was sitting here, because I would love to hear his reaction to that, just to gauge, to kind of get like a temperature check between the two of you. But no, I get it. Like, listen, I'm not writing off Helldivers, because when you play it, it is a lot of fun. But like that content gap of looking at it and saying, okay, yeah, I got to earn this, I got to play this, not a problem for me. But seeing 10 to 15, however many were there, pay in or get nothing, I think it would be a bit more tolerable for me if there was like almost like a battle pass, like a free tier, to kind of like get a taste of what those war bonds offer. But it's like, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I get none of this, but all of my menus redirect to that if I try to click on something. But the game itself is fun. Like I said, the first part of it was me going, oh, I get it, there's explosions, there's fun, it's just and you started me out on like we tried the super Helldivers with like the highest difficulty, right? That we tried those a few times, and well, I did feel some frustration with some of the stuff that Joe was talking about, where there's penetration issues and different guns feel like they're not doing enough, right? it
Well, we
wasn't.
both had that problem for a while.
Yeah, of course, but like obviously he's a bit more vocal about those issues.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at is I felt it. It hit me, and it didn't like ruin my day. You know, maybe it's just from hearing you two talk about it for as long as you have. I was expecting the world to fucking end when that happened, and it didn't. Well, so that's great.
The game gives you so many different tools to deal with any given threat available to you that, like, if you're just gonna fall back and rest on your laurels of your one primary weapon to try to get you out of a sticky situation, you're not gonna have a good time. Like the game, you really need to mix and match the stratagem recipe to make sure that whatever run that you go on is, you know, you're prepared for whatever the game is going to throw at you, because you can deal with the Bile Titans or the Charges, which are the two biggest pains in the asses that I think exist in the game. Not so much the Bile Titans, because they're at least easy to get distance from. The Chargers are just fucking annoying because there's so little of a weak spot on them that you have to go in with even the medium pen weapons don't do anything against them. You have to, and the only heavy pen weapons are two off the top of my head. The autocannon, which even that you have to shoot at the legs, you can't just hit him in the head. The railgun, which you have to use on unsafe mode, which can kill you if you don't time it right. The Senator, which is a heavy penetration pistol, but it's not really going to stop a charger in its tracks if it's charging at you. And the heavy machine gun, which that is probably the most practical, but the ergonomics are very slow on that thing, so you got to just have a good position. Okay. Other than that, I fall back on the orbital railgun, because that kills most Bile Titans in one hit and every Charger in one hit. That's like a good get out of jail free card. But it can definitely be frustrating if like you switch back to your primary after expending your support weapon and like it just runs you over like a Mack truck. That never feels good.
Yeah.
But all in all, like, what is your overall takeaway from Helldivers so far? We definitely have got to put more time into it. We have to absolutely go out of our way to grind out the super credits, because you need to get more shit in that game. And you know, I don't mind going quickly on a grind session with you. Yeah. But we just like we need to like cognizantly do it, right? Because if we just party up and jump into like a 8, 9, or 10 level mission, like we're never gonna find enough credits in any reasonable amount of time. It's just not going to happen.
That's what I figured. But to answer your question is I do see the appeal. You know, I listed a lot of negatives. I was very negative for most of our discussion, but that's mainly because like that stuff's going to affect
you
going
were negative
forward.
about like one thing.
Yeah. But the game is fun. Like what more could you ask for? Fun time with friends, you know. Right. I can disagree with some of the policies behind the scenes. But
actually
it's fun.
So the Halo ODST Warbond and the coinciding update that came along with it, I have been feeling so you remember how my PC crashed like 2 times yesterday when we were trying to play? Yeah, so that was because there's a bug in the update that I just found out about today, that if your computer is trying to write large files, and I happen to be installing Path of Exile 2 while I was playing, because usually my computer can handle both of those things running at the same time. No, it hard crashed my computer to the point where I had to cold reboot it. So that was a symptom of this bug in the update, and I've heard of it killing some people's SSDs. Like they had to go out and buy new hardware. Yeah, and I mean that really sucks.
We discovered in general the PC version is very unoptimized. Like it's a wreck.
Yeah. So let's go over that for a second. So how large is it on Xbox?
It is, if I take a look, I have the Xbox on right next to me. It is 23.3 gigabytes.
That's crazy. 23.3 gigs. It's 130 gigs on PC. And after the laziest of research that I did during our conversation about this, we discovered that a ton of the files are just duplicates from the console version. They ported over to PC. So the game is wildly unoptimized for PC. And that's just at a baseline. That's not even counting the issues that are in the most recent patch. So Arrowhead really needs to get a handle on that, because I mean, if my SSD died, I would be livid, like absolutely livid. So they need to fix that. And like, I can deal with poor optimization, but like an extra 100 gigs is kind of excessive. So they need to get on top of that too.
Yeah, optimization, I mean, we talk about it all the time, but that's when you have a version of the game that does not have this issue, there needs to, like, I know it's not one-to-one, different platforms and all that, but there needs to be some kind of, like, course correction here, you know? Like, I've heard plenty of stories of, like, games that are just unoptimized, and you need, like, a good computer to handle it, and the console is just a wreck. You know, stuff like that, because you don't have as much leeway on the console. But it's very rare to like see a situation where it's like, okay, we put it on the console, and then we just don't know what the fuck we're doing at all on the PC. Because that storage difference shocked me when I saw that. Like I was like, damn.
When Helldivers 2 first launched for PC, I distinctly remember it being around 60 gigs, maybe 80, but I'm pretty sure it was around 60 gigs. Because every time I had to install an update, Steam had to re-verify all the files. So that had to go through all 60 gigs of game files. So it would take a longer time than average to update the game on Steam. So when you ask me how big it is on PC, I'm like, oh, it's around 60 gigs. And then fucking Harrison sends a screenshot of 130 gigs. I'm like, what the fuck? I had no idea. I really had no idea. So the optimization is atrocious for Helldivers 2 on PC. They definitely need to fix that soon. I don't think I would, my personal opinion, I would prefer them add DLSS into the game before I get like a major optimization patch. I'm sure like our opinions are going to differ on that, but I know for a fact that DLSS will make my experience better, as opposed to it's taking up an extra 100 gigs on my SSD that I know I have the spare space, but I mean it's whatever. I'm not like playing 3-card Monty with my hard drive to try to figure out how I'm going to store stuff. So that is not as big of an issue to me as like the overall performance of the game. So yeah. But anyway, we've talked about Helldivers 2 enough.
Yes, we have.
It's a good time, great time with a full squad, and I know I look forward to playing it more later. Maybe this coming Saturday we'll like actually do a super credit hunt. Okay, so let's see, moving on. I know I mentioned about Killing Floor 3 before. Tripwire was just at PAX. I think it was PAX West. It could be East. I think
we had this exact same conversation where it's like, which one is it? I don't know.
But it was at PAX like yesterday, I think, and they had a whole like hour-long panel of the future plans for the game, what they're doing, what they're adding, what they're fixing, blah blah blah. And I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched enough of it to get the gist of what's going on, because after a certain point, they just started showing off concept art about the new maps that are coming. And while yes, I care about the new maps, it's just concept art. I'm not seeing this in game, so I didn't. It's kind of a waste of time. But all the stuff that Tripwire is planning for the future of Killing Floor 3, it's all good things. Granted, it should have launched in the state that like they're trying to get to right now. Obviously, like you could say with so many different games, but the direction that they're going with the perk and character decoupling is what everyone wanted. They're adding 3 new weapons in the next major content patch. We're getting new maps and a ton of bug fixes, which after the last 2, they were pretty large hot fixes. The game has been performing better for me overall. I haven't had any crashes, so that's... no, I lied. I've had 1 crash, and that was today. So there's that, but it just seems like they are actually listening to what the community want, and the new perk that they're going to be adding in soon is the Gunslinger perk, which was actually my main after they added the Gunslinger after Commando and Killing Floor 2, I believe, and that's what I mained, was the Gunslinger. It was just akimbo pistols the whole time, like between Western revolvers or Deagles or whatever. It was like 357 Magnums. It was just a really fun class to play as. So I'm looking forward to that, but there's nothing inherently that I've looked at that I was just like, oh, like I don't want that. No, like this is all good stuff that's coming to the game. So
yes,
I definitely look forward to what Tripwire is doing with Killing Floor 3, and we all own it, so we could always go back to it and play it. You know, you and I were just playing not too long ago. So
Yeah,
definitely a good thing. All positive stuff with Killing Floor, which makes
absolutely.
me happy.
Trending
So
upwards.
let's see what else. Yes, what else do we got here? So one small thing that I found from WCCF Tech is Turok Origins is going to be running at 60 FPS on the Series S, and the developers are apparently having a really hard time developing Turok for the Series S. It is just the performance is not great. So
Yeah.
there's not really much more to say beyond that. It's just the
Yeah, I
fact
mean,
that like,
we are nearing the end of this console generation, and you know,
which
I
is
have
bonkers to me. It's so
it.
crazy.
Yeah, the only reason it's bonkers to me is because it feels like we haven't really had anything substantive come out. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
this generation has been very
I
much coasting on like moderate service improvements. You know.
so on that topic, I think the first game that actually feels somewhat quote unquote next gen that I've played this generation so far is probably Battlefield 6. And that is kind of sad because the, I say this because the game feels extremely cinematic when everything is working right and like you're seeing people get dragged across your foreground. Like buildings are being destroyed around you, and it all looks beautiful and it's working seamlessly, and like it's changing the mechanics of the match and like how you're going to approach a certain objective and blah blah blah. No other game that I could think of feels next gen of this generation. Maybe you can say Helldivers with the with the way that they handle their stratagems and like all the big fancy explosions and whatnot, but it doesn't really change like the mechanics of what you're doing moment to moment as far as gameplay goes. In
Mm.
Battlefield, like, if you destroy the side of a building, you can climb up the rubble. That's never been in a Battlefield game before, and it works really well. So I think that Battlefield 6 has been the first game that has actually felt somewhat, quote unquote, next gen, and we're at the end of the console life cycle right now. So it's just crazy to me. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it kind of goes into to go with what you were saying. It kind of goes to the other half of what I was going to say, which was, I say a lot about I give a lot of crap to modern developers, and rightfully so. But like, I would feel like we're at the point where, you know. Certain developers would be struggling to maintain performance on these consoles anyway. I'm not. I'm
yeah,
convinced there's more to it there, but basically, what I was getting at is, there's not a whole lot that really happened. There hasn't been any big innovations this console generation. It's really just been service wars, so to
yeah,
speak, and I think that's going
yeah,
to continue into the next one. Although there are rumors, like, obviously we've already seen the Xbox handheld, and they're looking to expand the ecosystem into the handheld market. There's rumors that the PlayStation this coming generation will have their own like Series S, but it's more like a Switch kind of thing where it's like a docked console. There's a lot of rumors
hmm
flying, and it's hard to get excited, even though I would love to get excited about new hardware and the potential for them. I'm just not anymore.
yeah,
The just between the We talked about this when we kicked the podcast back off, right? It's just the failings of the industry and the culture behind it, and the talent bleed. It's becoming unavoidable to
yeah. The
like
bubble is going to burst.
yeah, like I'm
It's
sitting here
probably gonna pop with the release of the next generation consoles. I would say if
yeah, I
things don't
mean,
get implemented.
yeah, no, it definitely will. I mean, we're in a situation, there's already a lot of talk and conversation for obvious reason about this, but how, the consoles are going up in price 5 years or however many years afterwards, where it's just
That
like,
is a whole fucking podcast episode on its own.
yeah, that's a whole thing. But the whole point is like we're at a turning point. I'm like, listen, I've said this plenty of times whenever we talk about it. It's like either we got to course correct and we all put our feet down, and you make good games and we'll be good consumers, and we all just love this industry and this art form. But the alternative is a very nasty pop. And there's going to be a lot of finger waving and pointing at whose fault it is when that happens. But at the end of, something's got to give. We
Yeah.
cannot carry on like this. It's just not tenable.
Yeah, yeah.
But
This is
yeah,
truly a wait and see thing because it's
yeah,
been getting worse and worse and worse
yeah,
ever since COVID.
yeah, and basically back to what the topic where you were mentioning Turok is, I actually loved the idea of like a multiple consoles within the one console generation. I thought what Xbox did with that was absolutely genius. It was their way to cater to, people who like to grab a console and go, and like people like
well,
me
that's what
who
I
like
did.
the
I
bigger
bought
consoles.
both.
Yeah,
I bought the Series X for home. That's where it stays. That's like the beefy home experience console. And the Series S, I'm on the road. Yeah, I travel a lot, so I bring my Series S with me because it's. I actually got rid of it. I gave it to my my nephew, but because I just don't use it anymore. But I think that was like the perfect form factor and power level that I needed to bring with me to and from everywhere that I go. But now that we're seeing the cracks a little bit because Turok can't hit 60 FPS on Series S, and that's one of the many games that are like that, by the way.
Yeah, and what I was basically saying is like I do think that there is an actual hardware issue there where it comes to it's if you don't have the full power at your disposal, you're going to struggle. But at the same time, it's like I have to wonder if the teams and the talent that existed near the end of the PlayStation 2 console generation and the Xbox 360 console generation had these options, would we really be having these issues? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that's the case.
So I think that we would, but not to this great of an extent. It would have been orders of magnitude less.
That's a good way to put it. Like,
yeah.
I think a more I guess in the field example to look at is if you look at the Switch 1 when it was near the end of their life cycle, right? Because if you looked at the Switch throughout its history, Nintendo games would run flawlessly, with some exceptions, like the Pokemon's been a shit show for a while, but like Mario, Zelda, it ran as it needed to in docked and in handheld, and like as the console generation for the Switch went on, what ended up happening is you had third parties. They would struggle and they would do everything they could, but they could not fucking handle the Switch's hardware, and so you would get ports at a lower resolution. Some guys would really kick it up and make a really nice port, but it was kind of like a fight with them. But Nintendo, just year after year, really pushed it, and it would work and they would function. And it wasn't until like the last year where they had showings where like just things weren't functioning as they should. Like it was really showing it was really showing the cracks. Like they went 9 years almost without incident, with the sole exception of Pokemon, because apparently Game Freak just can't handle fucking making Pokemon anymore. So I hear. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean we'll see the fallout of that next console generation.
Yeah.
Talking about moving forward, one small Call of Duty thing that I found interesting was that the carry forward feature from Black Ops 6 to 7, they have canceled that.
Yes.
And from what I can tell, it's a combination of people being pissed off that actually no, not even a combination. I think it's primarily a identity crisis of COD, and we've had that for years now. But yeah, I mean, all the crazy and wacky skins that people have bought over the last year will not be able to bring those forward to Black Ops 7. And I'm kind of like checked out of COD at this point, at least this era of it now. But I like the fact that there's going to be no carry forward feature, because I think all those skins are absolutely atrocious, and I really hate the vast majority of them. And yeah, I've been guilty of buying like a couple here or there, but they were never fucking Beavis and Butthead, Like,
yeah, I mean, there were some really questionable ones. I think just that there was a confused thing, because basically the seeds were kind of sown in Modern Warfare 2019, where they tested the what?
Well, the Modern Warfare 2019 skins, the majority of them were pretty grounded.
Yeah, no, so they were, but I'm saying the seeds were kind of sown because, you had like a couple different groups being catered to. You had the guys that like the tactical stuff. You had the guys that were like more in like the metal and rock sector. You had the stoners, and you had the people like me who liked the cutesy anime shit, right? And they played around with that a little bit, and there were a couple offerings in each. And just as time passed, it kind of just blew out of proportion, where you had ridiculous skins that leaned into it, and all this other shit. But if you look at the roots of each, you could trace them each back. And I think all these cartoon characters being added is like them trying to simultaneously cater to the guys that had like the generic rock and metal shit, or the people that would like MTV. So it's like, oh, MTV, those are cartoons, so we'll give you Beavis and Butthead, and then we'll do American Dad because people like cartoons now all of a sudden. It's just so weird. But like, that's besides the point, that all of this really doesn't belong. I've had arguments with a few people where they argue it's like, oh, it's the Fortnite-ification of Call of Duty, and I kind of see that, but I think it's just them, the same way that they got to this point with yearly releases and like this monster of like an audience, and the beast that Call of Duty has become. I just think it's like they started small, and those small things added up over time. I don't really think it's as direct as them wanting to be like Fortnite all of a sudden. I just think it's them going down their own path of insanity,
I actually completely agree with you. I was gonna stop you in the middle of that, but the more you spoke, the more I agreed with you. I think that the whole quote-unquote Fortnite-ification of COD, it's very easy to draw that, to connect those two dots in the realm of COD, especially when we live in a world where we have Fortnite that is basically its own metaverse with different properties and skins and whatnot. But I think that the catalyst of all of it was the fact that they launched Modern Warfare 2019. COVID hit right after everyone was locked inside. They launched these skins. They made the most money they ever did with COD up until that point with Modern Warfare 2019. And the vast majority of it was from the microtransaction shop, and they just kept on leaning into it. I don't think that they were trying to chase the crowd that likes Fortnite, because it's just not the same audience. But I think that they were just following the money is really what it comes down to. They kept on selling these skins, and they kept on selling. Like every time I loaded into a match, I would always see the new featured skin like that was available that week. And it just wouldn't stop week over week. It was
that's also how we got into like the mini battle passes and shit like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And COD has become such a cash cow. They're not going to stop. They're just not. Like, until the money stops flowing, they will not stop. And people need to come to terms with that. All the people and streamers and content creators and blah 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 that are, and us included, that are bitching and moaning about. That are all the content creators that are bitching and moaning about the COD's lack of identity and all these crazy skins and blah blah. Like, you can scream it and shout it until you're blue in the face, but until 13-year-old Billy stops spending his mom's credit card or on these skins, it's not going to stop. And the only thing that's going to put an end to it is if we all collectively put our wallets down, and that's just not going to happen. I don't see an end to it. I really don't.
My opinion is that like it can end technically. It's just,
yeah, of course it can.
It's not. What makes it tricky isn't just like the logistics issue that you laid out, but it's basically, I've mentioned it before, I'm going to mention it again. It's basically that growing divide in monetization, where it's able to go on for as long as it has, because it's like, okay, you'll lose people like me who will spend next to nothing on it unless it really appeals to them. Like, I buy the occasional anime bundle, but nothing else in the store appeals to me, and it's only if it's cheap. I'm never going to pay like $25 for a bundle, right?
And I've done that a couple times, and I kind of immediately regretted it after the fact.
Which leads to my next point. Then they have you, who's willing to spend a little extra. You're not wailing on this fucking thing, but you'll spend the extra money if it's something you really like, and especially if in a situation where you did play Warzone and we were all playing, carried over, you saw value in it. And what happens when you lose that tier of player? Well, you have the people that buy, they're willing to buy 30, or they're willing to buy multiple bundles that are part of a complete set. And then above them is the people that buy fucking everything. And the what I'm getting at is, as the prices go up and the value goes down, you lose a greater tier of player. Like, you lose more tiers, but you're still getting some money back, but you have less people total paying for it. And I think that leads to a breaking point eventually. But what happens is they will course correct before they lose everything. Or, at the very least, I should say, it would take a while for them to reach that breaking point, and it's more likely that they will course correct, especially now that Battlefield's playing the game and actually competing,
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the fact that they're getting rid of the carry forward feature. I think it was worth talking about, especially because COD is such a huge franchise, and it was kind of a foundational thing for you and I, especially for me growing up. Like, that was, if it wasn't for COD 4, COD 4 and maybe like Time Splitters, I would say, even before that. But let's just stick with COD 4 for now. If it wasn't for Call of Duty 4, like, I probably wouldn't be as into shooters and maybe even video games overall as I am now. So, like, I have a very sentimental attachment to this franchise for my own personal reasons, and that I just described. Like, I can't even count, Anthony, the amount of nights that you and I were running like clan ground war in Call of Duty 4, and we had people on deck waiting for a fucking invite. That we just had too many people to fill an entire lobby of ground war over and over and over again. We had to start rotating people out. That's like one of my most fond gaming memories. Like So Call of Duty name and the IP has a very special place in my heart, like, for its own reason, but it's become an abomination and a caricature of what I remember it being when I was, 15 or however old I was. And it sucks to watch this happen, because I know that given the right leader, at Activision or at Microsoft now, Call of Duty could be even more of a gaming juggernaut as it is now. So it just sucks what's happened to COD.
Yeah, that's the painful part about it, because there are people who are a lot more, not dour, but aggressive than you or I will be. Like, you and me, we come at it from a place of, hey, we have fond memories of this. A lot of the games in the series early on are objectively just like really great games, and they're very fun to play with or without our experience in them. There are people out there that fucking hated Call of Duty from Call of Duty 4 onward just because of, they're more purist. They don't like, they see the creative class system as like a poison thing that really like hurt shooters as an industry, right? And they're not keen on Modern Warfare 2 because it made they were one of the first major companies to go against server browsing, and they feel like it had ripple effects, right? There are some people out there that just hate Call of Duty and have always hated Call of Duty in a way that you and me, I don't think we could ever really get there.
No, definitely not.
The what sucks the most about Call of Duty is, like, you're watching like this massive behemoth of a series that is just like, it's like a force of nature, and you're just like,
it really is.
It's like you could have something on the level of a Fortnite without necessarily being the thing that everybody hates about Fortnite if you just buckled down, trimmed some of your budget so that you're not burning yourself out year over year, and it's always a coin toss if the game's gonna suck because you're trying to put out a game every single fucking year. Like, I don't know, like, you could do some fucking great stuff, but it's a massive, like a rubber band ball, and like some of those rubber bands need to go. But, like, it's a massive rubber band ball. How the fuck are you going to trim out the right rubber bands from this fucking disaster of a ball, right?
It's a really good analogy, actually.
Yeah, it's nightmarish, but it's... Call of Duty 2 is great. Call of Duty 4 is great. I know people that loved Call of Duty 3. Call of Duty 1 is from that era. It's very rudimentary, but it's not bad. World at War is great. Black Ops 1, I'm not head over heels like some people are, but that's really good. Modern Warfare 2 is great.
COD was on a fucking hot streak for a solid 5, 6, 7 years, maybe longer than that.
That's how they were able to. That's how they hit that hot streak pretty much right out of the gate. It's crazy. Yeah, and that's why they were able to get away with this.
Actually.
Yeah. It's you could be making great games, but you don't. Well, it could take up a whole episode, but the issues, it sucks.
We're an hour in already, and like we've barely gotten to our news topics.
Yeah, but basically,
I'm not saying that to move us along. I'm just saying.
No,
I just
had
a lot to say.
Yeah, there's not. It would need an episode of its own to talk about and try and we'd be doing an autopsy on something that's still alive and growing. It's a nightmare. But yeah,
We
it
should
could
have
be
a
better
COD
for
episode
everybody.
just talking
We
about
should,
that. I
or
would
just
enjoy
like a
that.
day ahead to discuss it, you know. But it's one of those things you gotta
Yeah.
make notes for and shit like that.
All right, let's move on because we're an hour in and we have a lot to talk about still.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like small you want to get out of the way? I got a couple of things on deck, so just let me know.
Nothing small, no.
Okay. Okay, so the next thing that I found that I thought was noteworthy, also gave me a pretty good chuckle, was about Star Citizen rearing its oh so ugly head once again. So Chris Roberts, the creator of Star Citizen, I think he's the creative director at Cloud Imperium Games too. He said that he hopes the Star Citizen launch will be almost as big as GTA 6, and that the launch of the game is kind of right around the corner. Like it's supposed to be coming out sometime, and I want to say 2026. Yeah, targeting a 2026 release. And this game is such a fucking like such a summer's breeze away from vaporware. It's not even funny. Like seriously. Like if I was one, I definitely have said this in the past. If I was one of the actors who lent their likeness to the single player game, I'd be furious.
Yeah, I mean, just to comment on what you basically just told me, he's out of his fucking mind if he wants that. Not that I don't like. I'm not judging Star Citizen. I'm just saying like you can't build that kind of hype with something with what you've done with the game. Everybody knows that it exists already. You can't build hype for something that's been in early access hell for over a decade. It's just not possible. And I don't even know what the fuck he wants. He made his money already. They probably interviewed him on his fucking yacht. I don't know what more he wants. Like I guess influence and like people to know what they made, but it's just like I don't get it. Like he's not gonna get it first and foremost. But like I don't there's like it's not hubris. Maybe it's hubris. I don't get what this guy's game is. Like I want this to be as big as
I think he's guided by pure idealism of what his wants his dream to be. Like to a fault.
So yeah, no, that's probably part of it. If he has his own, his vision of what he wants his thing to be remembered. I don't know. That's but it's like what?
Not that I don't think Star Citizen will ever come out. I think it will eventually. I just don't think it's going to be what they're selling.
No, and what's there already is what's there. It's you have your audience. I don't think you can cast a bigger net short of, unless miraculously when it comes out and it has this campaign or whatever with all these actors, unless it's like it just blows people away and has like a feature set that is just you gotta have it. Like he's not gonna get like.
No, I'm telling you right now, there's no way. Like I've tried to play this game on 3 different occasions, and all 3 times I don't have like a slouch rig. Like it's not like super high end by any stretch of the imagination, but I can run anything that I throw at it, whether it's on medium or high settings. Like I'm not concerned about going into any game and worrying if my PC at home, my desktop, is going to be able to run it. I'm really not. Every single time I've tried to play this fucking game, it was a slideshow, and it just is not optimized. Like I don't know what else to tell you about this. Like it was always a miserable experience trying to do anything in that game. On top of all that, it's buggy as fuck. And then on top of that as well, like this game is a simulation. It's not a game. Like they want you to live in this universe to the point where, oh, you want to go to your ship, you got to go to the hangar, you got to find the right hangar bay in the hangar, take the elevator outside of your apartment, wait for the fucking elevator to go from the 50th goddamn floor down to where you are to bring you back up again, ride the elevator. There's no fucking loading screen. You got to ride the elevator up to the hangar so that you can get in your fucking ship and turn the goddamn ignition. Like it's not what people think it is, and they are not marketing it correctly.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like I don't have a single problem with simulators. I will go to bat for simulators, but it's like you got to know your audience and your spread and what you can actually hope to attract. It's just not like kudos to you. Made out like a bandit. I gotta say, man. What? Like not you. I meant the guy. Not you. I'm talking about the guy again. The you. I should have said this guy made out like. Yeah, this guy made out like a bandit. You did spectacularly well for a game that's been in development for like 13 years, is it now?
It's 13 years. I think
yes,
it's 13 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's 13 years this game's been in development. You have enough money that you are on a yacht. You have a yacht. You have money.
It still grows every day. Every hour of every day.
You have egregious monetization in this early access in development game that we haven't seen. It's like, I just can't imagine. Like, it's one thing for me to
you can look up anything. You can look up anything that you want to see of the game, but it's oh my god! Like, yeah, it works kind of, but not really.
It's hard to talk about because it is such an extreme situation. Like, if you told me 10 years when we were sitting there doing the pregame lobby podcast, if you said to me we're going to be talking about this in over a decade, the game's not going to be out, the guy has made billions of dollars, people are still playing it religiously enough to fund this guy, but he wants more, I would have called you a fucking liar and told you to get out of my house. Like, that's the level of, I don't know what he wants. He's not getting it though. It's gonna, like, there will come a time where it just rolls out.
He wants his dream project to come to life. That's what he wants.
And listen, I think it has come to life. You should be insanely happy with what you've gotten away with and what you have. That's basically the gist of what I'm trying to get out of my fucking mouth. I'm just so exasperated from this because it's such a strange scenario. So bizarre.
It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. And so, like I said, it's a light summer's breeze away from being vaporware. And I don't. 1.0 launch, it might be like, it's going to be a 1.0 launch in name alone. It's not going to be what people think it
it's
is,
just going to roll out.
Want it to be.
It's going to roll out, and the campaign's going to drop, and that's going to be that.
Yeah. So, Star Citizen 2026, ladies and gents, fucking get your wallets out. You're ready to pay $500 for a fucking ship, or way more than that on some of them. Like way more than that. Anyway, I can't talk about this anymore. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's see. Okay, did you hear about Acclaim? I assume you know who they are.
Yeah, I know who Acclaim is.
Yeah, so Acclaim went bankrupt 20 goddamn years ago, and apparently they are coming back like within the next couple weeks with a press conference about what they're going to be publishing. I mean, they've made games in the 80s and the 90s. They were around a long time ago. They made stuff like
an old
like the WWF games. There's a Simpsons game, Terminator 2, Alien 3, the original Turok.
Yeah, I was gonna say Turok is the one just because it was on. It was But they were around in like the late 80s doing all this kind of stuff. Yeah, they were one of the early like big publishers, I would say. Like a lot of names we know from that time frame are developers that have like stuck it out or got rebought or something, but they're one of the early big publishers that wasn't making consoles, that most people know of. I think they did
so they're coming back.
Yeah, so that's I mean, there's only so much to say because it's a publisher and not a developer, So I am interested to see exactly what the end goal is there, because
I don't know. They haven't said what they're actually making. It's just, we're having a press conference. This article from Video Game Chronicle says it's September 10th at 11:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see what that is, what they're making. Or what they're publishing.
We'll see what happens, because a lot of the IPs that they were in charge of publishing are like they've been handed off. They're elsewhere. That's why I say it's weird. Yeah. It's not like let's just say Capcom went under tomorrow, and like 10 years from now I bought it and said, "We're Capcom's back, baby." You would immediately know, oh my god, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Monster Hunter. Oh my god, all those amazing games. With Acclaim, it's just like I can think of a few things that they published, but they were never a developer, Yeah. So
so we'll see what happens with that. I thought it was interesting too. Yeah. Let's see. Other small thing I got. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 detailed their year 2 roadmap, and we got a lot of good content coming in 2026. I'm excited. A lot of cosmetic stuff, which is cool because
that's always good. Yeah.
I mean, if you're a Warhammer fan, like that's actually really important to you. Yeah. They announced new PvP maps and modes, which is actually looks like a lot of fun. You can play as a the fuck is it called? God damn it, a Terminator? No. It's escaping me. Like the really big, like, I don't know. There's an asymmetrical game mode that's coming out. You can play as like the really giant unit in like a Space Marine chapter. I forgot what it's called. God damn, this is gonna bother the fuck out of me right now. Hellbrute Onslaught is the new PvP mode. So that should be cool. Excited for that. I do love my Warhammer, as you probably have no idea about me, that I love Warhammer.
Of course not. I've never heard you mention it before in your life.
Yeah. So that's kind of a small thingy that I got there. I have some Battlefield 6 articles here that. Why did I post this? Battlefield 6 dev says a significant number of users played the game below the minimum recommended specs.
Yeah.
EA points out the importance of weaker hardware. Actually, to their credit, it's a good thing the game is fairly well optimized because there's a lot going on in Battlefield 6. And if my laptop can run it, and it's like 3 years old, it's a decent gaming laptop. But if mine can run it, then I'm pretty happy with the optimization in Battlefield 6. So. That was something that EA came out and commented on. I thought that was worth mentioning.
Okay.
Battlefield 6's Battle Royale mode can be customized via the portal system, but we kind of knew that already. All right, that was the only Battlefield info that I had this week.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to cover one more small thing that I found, and then kind of it's not like that big. It's just fucking hilarious. All right, so the small thing that I got is the Left 4 Dead's creator is coming back to developing games now. He made the original Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, Evolve, and then the most recent is Back 4 Blood. Evolve did not do well, neither did Back 4 Blood. Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 are both classics, as everybody knows. So they specifically said, what is this from? Dextero? Fuck is it called?
Close enough.
Dexerto. He's specifically coming back to the FPS genre. So we'll see what that means.
Like
you're gonna try to capture lightning in a bottle again with Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. Good luck.
Listen, I think at this point, like anyone that worked at Turtle Rock should just never mention Left 4 Dead again, because like you're setting yourself up to like, even if you were spectacular at what you did, you were putting such a hefty set of expectations on your shoulder, right? You just they tried it twice.
Have been out. Yeah.
No, it's like
those two games have been out for so long. They're so romanticized and built up in people's heads. Like it's an impossible task.
I wouldn't even say romanticized. Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 earned that reputation. I would say.
I agree. Yeah.
Like there is still. I will never, like, you know me. I like to hold things over the heads of developers, right? It came up recently when we talked about Cyberpunk, but Valve, for all the credit I give them, what that whole controversy with Left 4 Dead 2 and whether or not it was more of an expansion, unless I haven't forgotten all that, but Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 are great games. Regardless of the past wrongdoings of charging a bit too much for what could be expanded content. It's they're phenomenal.
Left 4 Dead
games.
2 did that before Modern Warfare 3 did.
Yeah, but so it's like they did what they did so well. It's nobody's really topped them there as far as that replayable campaign, satisfying gameplay loop, something that you could go back for a yearly playthrough and just love it each time. Some people still just play it daily.
Yeah, I know. It's so that is one of the several reasons why I play Darktide so much, is because it's not exactly the Left 4 Dead formula, but it's close enough that
it's whatever subgenre that is, it's in it.
Yeah, it's a 4-player. I would probably call it like a 4-player linear horde shooter. Probably the best way you could describe it.
That's a good way to put it.
That's one of the reasons why I play Dark Tide so much. I mean, there's a ton of others, but the Left 4 Dead influence on that game is definitely not lost on me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this guy's coming back, and we'll see what he does.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fat nothing, because he's already setting people up to expect like Valve level qualities. Like, I did Left 4 Dead, but there's been so many different exposés and videos where they basically say that Valve carried Left 4 Dead, even though Turtle Rock was involved and they had the initial idea and all that kind of stuff. It's, you guys got to stop setting yourself up by saying, "Oh, I did Left 4 Dead. This next project's gonna be great."
Okay, last thing that I got is pretty goddamn hilarious. It has to do with Bungie again, fucking shocker. Okay, so apparently Bungie is paying select, I hesitate to use the term gamers, like maybe more content creators or influencers or whatever you want to call them. They are apparently paying these people $500 to play test Marathon for 30 consecutive days. Like, I don't even know anymore, man. Like, they just refuse to let this go. They refuse to let it go. I don't get it. Like, this game is DOA. Like, it is as DOA as any game ever was. Like, you just bite the bullet and let it go and move on to something else. Nobody fucking wants Marathon. At least not in the form that they're trying to sell it in.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing about it was the animated short that was made by one of the directors who did a bunch of Love, Death, and Robots episodes. That was the best thing about it, and even that was like, okay, it just I don't understand who at Bungie has such a hard-on for the extraction shooter genre that even after everything that happened, all of the negative press, all the fucking plagiarism, which like that should have killed the game right then and there. The fact that they brought all these content creators out to Bungie when they announced the game to play tested, and everyone like pretty unanimously was like, this is number one, it's not ready. Like that's just right off the bat, the game is not ready. Two, it's kind of boring because nothing is really going on moment to moment in the same way that like, I know I keep on bringing it up, but in the same way that DMZ had something going on moment to moment. Like there was a lot of empty space. And then like with another fucking hero shooter, essentially every goddamn character has a different ultimate ability. What else? The art style looked, aside from the fact that the art style was basically plagiarized, the game just looked flat. I don't know how else to put it. Like it just looked very flat. Like, yeah, the colors were bright and it was kind of pretty to look at to an extent, but like, I don't know if you noticed this, but when they were showing off the game in earnest, like everything was very blue. Everything had a lot of very cold colors to it. And I think that has some kind of a subconscious effect on whoever is going to be playing it or looking at it. Like it doesn't look that inviting. And I don't know, man. They have to stop. They got to stop. And now you're going to tell me they're paying people to play test the game for 30 consecutive days. Oh, it just, this is not going to end well. Any way you slice it, it's not going to end well. They just have to cut their losses and move on. But it's like literal hubris at this point. I don't get it. It's God. Oh, no wonder why Sony took over. Okay, I'm done with talking about Marathon unless you have some input, but
no, I don't have much to say on that.
Didn't think so.
Not that we haven't already said.
Now that I just yapped for like 40 minutes straight, I don't believe I have anything else on deck. You can take it away. What do you got?
So there's like two small things because we don't have time for any of the big things that I was gonna say. First, Rocksteady apparently has a new game director. I don't know if you heard about this. This is like the first.
No, I did not.
Yeah, it is a guy by the name of Bill Money. He worked on different Assassin's Creed games. I think some of the later ones like Origins, Valhalla, Mirage, and he did limited work on Arkham Origins. So basically, you have this guy stepping up some Assassin's Creed work. I mean, this is the only news I've heard about Rocksteady kind of filling in the shoes after the mass exodus that they experienced during the Suicide Squad stuff. I'll be honest, I'm surprised Rocksteady's even hiring. I thought they were gonna like get merged or something, but I guess being tied to Batman is like really the only thing keeping them afloat, you know? So
yeah,
there's that. I don't know. The other thing I would say is, so last week, right? I bitched a little bit about Resident Evil and Silent Hill, right?
yep,
And my focus was on Resident Evil because there was a showing for Resident Evil. There was a whole talk about what the core of the franchise really meant, and I'm just like, okay, a bunch of bullshit. Survival horror. It's just it's if you like survival horror, the unfortunate thing is you're going to share that space with some of the most moronic people that exist. Because I think there's just something inviting about it to people who want to sound smart, but they really aren't. There's something about survival horror that attracts that kind of person. But so, on the flip side, this week we had there was a couple interviews about Silent Hill. They're playing damage control because a lot of people, even I made the comparison. It slipped out last week where I basically said, oh, there's a Dark Souls dodge in it, and they absolutely want to make sure that you guys know that the game is not at all like Dark Souls. There's a bit more action, but it's still a survival horror game at its heart, right? But beyond that, they did another interview where they said Silent Hill F is shaped by the Japanese women's rights movement of the 1960s. And I said there were two things that came to mind. One,
I'm sorry, that was like
yes.
a genuine
Yes.
gut laugh.
so my whole thing is this, like, one, with survival horror games, even though I am of the opinion that you shouldn't beat people to death with metaphors and underlying things that are like symbolic of how things happen in the game, right? You don't want to play your hand before the game's even out, right? This is the kind of statement that like a YouTuber jerk off should make like 5 years after the game came out, and you see like a shitty thumbnail. It's like how Silent Hill F represents the Japanese women's movement or something like. You don't play your hand this early. Two, I basically had your reaction where I laughed. I'm just like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? And I'm just like, okay, well now I'm just like, what's going on with Silent Hill F? Like, I still trust the writer, but you never know. Everybody loses their mind. Everybody at some point loses their mind in this shit. You know, you either go quiet and you get buried, or you lose your fucking mind and you bend over and you make yourself look like a jackass with all the modern shit going on. It's whatever. So I'm like, okay, that sounds stupid. But Dan, what do you think happened immediately afterwards that I ranted about last week too? What do you think immediately happened afterwards?
Oh God, I have no idea.
The fandoms showed up to rear their ugly heads.
Yeah,
and I am now seeing takes. People are telling me I've been playing these Silent Hill games almost as long as I've been playing my Resident Evil games. You know, played Resident Evil way too young, started Silent Hill way too young. People are telling me that the first 4 Silent Hill games, not all of them, because, you know, people only give a shit about the first 4 because those are the good ones. Well, it's really like 2 good ones and 2 okay ones. But people are telling me that the first 4 Silent Hill games were already feminist stories, so I shouldn't be worried in the fucking first place. And these people, Dan, I just can't with them anymore. They're trying to tell, like, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, Silent Hill 1, a guy goes to rescue his daughter. Where's the feminist message there? Silent Hill 2, a guy goes to look for his wife in Silent Hill. Where's the message there? Silent Hill 3, maybe you could argue it. It's a girl avenging her father. She's a female protagonist. Is that the feminist story? And the 4th one is about a guy trapped in his fucking haunted apartment and fighting a serial killer. I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, even if I wanted to get into the weeds with these people, I was like, oh, well, survival horror metaphors are just too deep for you. Because, like, if you could stretch the level that they would need to do to stretch this kind of stuff, it's like if I said Mass Effect is a feminist story because the Asari are an all-female race. Like, that's the level of asininity. Or it's just like,
yeah.
Modern Warfare 2019 is a feminist story because Farah exists or something like that, and you play as Farah as a child. Like, isn't that such a powerful feminist story? But it's like, it's just it went from like survival horror being. I can't enjoy anything anymore. It's just ridiculous. But I thought that was insane because, like, even ignoring the fandom shit for a second, it's like, even if you wanted to like do like the whole, so it's shaped by feminist female oppression in the 1960s. I'm like, that's a weird like, even if you wanted to play that angle, like that's something the players should find out and experience and form their opinions as they're playing, to see if you're beating them over the fucking head with it or if it's woven into the story naturally. Like I said, I kind of trust this writer. He's done a lot of shit in the past. Like, he has that leeway with me, but it's just like, I don't know what to take away from this outside of laugh and go, uh-oh, you know, pretty much what you did. So yeah, I just found it funny that we went from 0 to 60 with this, because like I said, survival horror is normally very quiet, very dead, unless you go to the fandoms and like you just want to fucking kill yourself. But like, I do find it fun just back to back. I just got two things where I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on with these games, you know?
Man, you just can't seem to win with the properties that you follow in particular. Like, at least I know that I have like, I like a lot of different stuff, and you know, a lot of them actually are big W's. Like, most of the time, like Helldivers has been getting pretty good consistent updates for a while now. Darktide, same thing. Killing Floor, while it didn't launch in the greatest state, like everything that's on the horizon looks really promising. Space Marine looks really promising in the next year. Like, that's just off the top of my head what I could think of that I don't like play that I play religiously. Like, but of course I have other stuff that has been shit all over. Like Destiny has, like, that thing is basically in the gutter at this point. COD is like, I just can't stomach it right now. Like, there's more, but you know, at least I just named off like 4 different things that I follow, that like the developers have been like really solid with. Seems like everything that you like on your own is just, God, I'm sorry.
I think my problem is, it's like, you know, I would say between the two of us, like, you're more in tune with some of the newer releases. I think you give a lot, because of your less scrutinizing, which is healthy in a way, to try new things. And like, you know, you'll win or you'll lose on that. With me, it's like a bunch of older stuff where it's just like, I like this, and it doesn't necessarily have mass appeal, and hopefully it stays dead, because I don't want anything I love to come back in this time frame, this
solidified in your memory.
This horrible culture time frame that we're in. I really don't want anything. But then it's like, oh, you know, the one upside, like nearly 10 years ago, when Dead Rising came back and died in Dead Rising 4, I'm just like, holy shit, it's over. I don't have to worry about it coming back for a while. And then the remaster happens, and it's the remaster just shits all over it, and I have to deal with morons on the internet telling me it's great. And then when the dust settles and I'm still pissed about it, they're off in their own little bubble going, hey, you know, this actually isn't all that great, but we can't really say that out loud, otherwise it'll prove the mean people online, you know, right, or whatever. And it's just like, everything I enjoy just ends up taking so many like foundational blows that like barely move the needle as far as mass appeal, and just end up damaging just unpleasant stains. This whole era we've lived in the last 10 years is just an unpleasant stain, you know? So.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so.
But some things, yeah.
Yeah.
Have to end it on a dour note, Jesus.
No, because there's still good shit. Like I said, occasionally good shit happens, you know? So that, to that credit, you know, like I mentioned, I'm going to keep mentioning it because, God, I just need to wave the winds around, you know? I'm enjoying Helldivers with you. Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 was such a nice treat. I enjoy my smaller niche things like Nitro Express. You know, that new Sonic racing game seems like a lot of fun, even though the writing in that's kind of iffy. And you may think, oh, writing in a Sonic game, don't even get me started. It just there's little bits and pieces to enjoy out there. I'm not sitting there, you know, I'm not gonna finish up this recording and just like sulk in a corner or anything like that. But you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's the bubble will burst eventually. It will. Yeah. And then the great reset can commence.
Yeah, one way or another. We gotta get this. This is not a tenable situation in any facet of life. But like, I'm just tired.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's it then, huh?
Yeah, that's about it.
Covered a lot this episode.
We did cover a lot, and there's still more to say and more things going on, and you know.
Indeed. Well, if you've made it this far, then thank you. You know, we appreciate it.
Always.
This was episode 70 of the Pregame Network podcast, and we'll be back. It's like the third time I've done that this episode. We'll be back again next week. Yep. Talk about more gaming shenanigans and things that are wrong with the industry and how to fix them and to offend more people. So that's always fun.
There you go. Oh yeah.
So, all right. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.